Pardon, sir. Kind word to me. Chairperson, distinguished keynote speaker Mohanji, Nana Sundar Ambi, launch senior advocate, esteemed guest, member of academia, civic society, legal and technological communities, media personality, student and dear friends. It is a privilege to join you this morning and inaugurate the Digital Rights Festival 2025. At first, I would like to thank the Internet Governance Institute, the Digital Freedom Coalition, and all partner organizers for extending this invitation and for convening this important national dialogue.
Global IME Bank, Sabai ka lagi bank.
Yesterday, I had a quick talk with Advocate Baburamji and asking about the Tom festival, what sort of festival this is, how to celebrate it joyfully. And I was really curious to know it. But when I got to know about this, about the theme of this festival or this conference, I became to clear that this festival is not only the occasion for celebration. It is also the platform for learning, sharing ideas, and inspiring one another to frame the roadmap for tomorrow's digital world. I commend the organizer for choosing a timely and thoughtful theme, like building trust in the digital age, governance, integrity, and inclusion for a resilient digital future in Nepal. The theme is self-explanatory. It strongly gives the message on governance, integrity, inclusion, building trust, and so many. In fact, digital issue is not only the technological one, rather it is a governance issue. Increasing expectation for efficient, transparent, and accessible services that have rapidly reshaped the governance. We are standing at a historical crossroad of digital transformation in the sense that there is a big question before us that will our digital future be governed by the rule of law? Whatever just Professor Rohan and Hannah just told about the governance of the digital future is all about the rule of law. How the adherence of rule of law can ensure in the digital world. I would like to touch upon some of the key issues of this theme. Let me start with the term digital right first. To me, digital rights are not abstract concepts. They are existing fundamental human rights guaranteed by our constitutions. The right to privacy, the right to freedom of expression, the right to equality, the right to dignity, and the right to due process do not disappear when interacting online. But technology raises serious concern, whether it's about intrusion into our privacy, surveillance without accountability, misuse of personal data, digital exclusion of marginalized communities, or algorithmic decision-making without transparency. If the case happens, it is serious violation of digital rights, vis-a-vis fundamental human rights guaranteed by our constitutions. No doubt, in constitutional democracies like ours, they must be more vigilantly protected at all costs. The second issue to think about is the requirement of a regulatory framework. A democratic society cannot afford to treat digital platforms as law-free zones. Nor can it permit regulation that discourages legitimate dissent and innovation. It requires a striking balance between the freedom of expression, innovation, and descent. Digital transformation without governance creates speed without direction. So, good digital governance requires clear legal frameworks, institutional accountability, transparency in decision making, and meaningful public participation. Judicial review becomes even more important when digital governance takes place. Courts need to ask the question like, is the use of technology lawful? Whether it discriminates or not? Are there any sufficient safeguards against error, bias, and misuse? The issue again is all about the adherence of law. In this context, laws on data protection, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and online space must be drafted with care. Overboard provisions, vague offences, or on-site executive discretion risk undermining public trust rather than strengthening it. Also, in this context, I would like to recall the number of rulings of the Supreme Court of Nepal, such as requirement of permission of the court to get personal call detail report, and set aside number of cybercrime prosecution in case of excessive application of Electronic Transaction Act. In addition, in number of cases, Supreme Court has given excellent decision on the scope and limitation of freedom of expression and right to privacy as well. I believe event like this would be appropriate platform to aware the citizen on how their data is collected and used, who makes decision affecting them, and what remedies are available when rights are violated. Having said this, I would like to take a few moments on the role of judiciary. No doubt, the judiciary has a distinct and indispensable role in this evolving landscape. But the fact is that the court is not a technology designer, rather it's a guardian of the rights of people and constitution as well. The court cannot compromise the values of democracy, human rights, rule of law, and independence of judiciary in the name of technology or digital transformation. Court cannot depart from its core basic values. So, technology should not be evolved only as a tool of convenience. Rather, it must strengthen fundamental values of democracy, human rights, rule of law, and access to justice for all. My strong conviction is that technology must assist justice for all, but it must never replace justice. It should be human-centric. Now, Supreme Court is working on its IT and digital transformation policy. I believe this policy would appropriately address these themes. While talking about digital governance, we cannot undermine the requirement of integrity and ethics in this field. Integrity and ethics should be maintained in digital governance. It is not an optional idea. Algorithms reflect the values, assumptions, and biases of their creators. Without ethical oversight, digital system can entrench inequality rather than eliminate it. Integrity demands transparency in algorithmic design, auditability of digital system, and accountability for outcomes. From a rule of law perspective, decisions that affect rights and liberties must be explainable. A citizen must be able to understand why a decision was made and how it can be challenged. Opacity is the enemy of justice, whether the decision is made by a human official or machine nomad. Similarly, a resilient digital future must be an inclusive, leaving no one behind, as Hannah just told. Digital divides, whether based on geography, gender, language, disability, or economic status, are not merely technical gap. It should be considered as a justice gap. In fact, it affects the outcome of justice. If digital governance excludes certain communities from access to service, participation, or remedies, it risks creating a two-tier of citizens like digital and non-digital access. So digital governance framework should be designed with accessible digital infrastructure, digital literacy across generation, multilingual in disability-friendly platform, and policies that prioritize the most vulnerable. True digital progress should be measured not by how advanced our technology is, but by how equitably its benefits are shared. My semi-final remarks, not final, regarding digital future is requirement of multi-stakeholder dialogue and responsibility. One of the strengths of such forum, what I just observed, it is such a digital right festival is a multi-stakeholder character. Digital governance cannot be responsibility of the state alone. It requires collaboration among government institutions, the private sector, technologists, civil society, academia, and the judiciary as well. Each actor has a role and each must be accountable. Civil society plays a critical role in advocacy and vigilance. Technologists must embed ethics into design. Policymakers must legislate with foresight, and court must remain independent arbiter when rights are contested. Dialogue, however, must translate into action. Principles discussed in conference must inform laws, policies, and practice. I believe it will do. Finally, my observation regarding building trust for future is that trust is built slowly, as it takes time to build, but it may lose quickly. Building system is not an easy task. It's not just a technical act. It's the outcome of constitutional, ethical, and behavioral process. Trust depends on enshrining legality, fairness, transparency, and respect for human dignity, and so on. When citizens trust that technology serves them and not the other way around, they engage more confidently, innovate more freely, and participate more meaningfully in democratic life. Our country, Nepal, has the opportunity to shape a digital future that is right, respecting, constitutionally grounded, and socially inclusive. This requires continuous reflection, vigilance, and courage. Having said this, let me conclude by congratulating the organizers once again for creating this important platform. This issue we discuss today will not be an abstract. This go to the heart of what kind of digital ecosystem we wish to build in coming days. May this festival strengthen the collaboration, sharpen our collective conscience, and reaffirm our shared commitment to the rule of law in digital age. I wish you all productive deliberation today. Thank you very much.